Hey, you guys, welcome back. Welcome back to another studio visit with Arts to Hearts Project. My name is Charuka. I am an artist and founder of Arts to Hearts Project, and I'm very excited to be back on a studio visit with another artist from our studio visit book, which is Roseanne. And I'm very excited to be doing this. We've had a lot of fun in the past studio visit book and in the studio visit. And I'm very excited because through all these lives and podcast recordings, we're getting a chance to not only, share the work of these amazing artists, but also to build a connection, to hear their stories, and to see beyond the pages. I'm very excited to say that we are so excited because we will be publishing our next edition very soon. And we're already publishing our new books. And if you also want to be a part of an upcoming book, which is on the theme of colors, and the other book that we are doing is 100 Emerging Artists of 2024, which both of them are very exciting. And if you want to participate in any of those, you can submit your application. You can just comment, submit here, and there's an automation that will send you the links and etc. The deadline for the colors book and exhibition is almost, I think, a week or so. And you have a few weeks for emerging artists for 2024. And with that, I will see if I can bring in Roseanne. And please, in the meantime, make sure that you introduce yourself. Let me know who you are, where you're joining us from. Introduce yourself and make sure to ask lots of questions. Make this a fun studio visit for all of us. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to see her spread. It's a stunning spread. She has such beautiful work. Let me also flip my phone and give you a glance of the book. Here I have the studio visit book with me. It's a coffee table book. It has a beautiful cover. We have Irna. I'm sorry, I don't want to spoil her name. Irna on the cover. For the first time, we've actually put an artist's face also and it looks stunning. And we have also Roseanne, which I'm going to wait for her to join. But let me show you her spread. So this is a sample. So the final book, I have a few copies already here. Um, this should, we have Carrie's work here. So we have some stunning spreads. It's a beautiful work. It's really amazing. So if you want a copy of it, please comment S for studio, V for visit, B for book, and 3 for number 3, SVB3, and you can get a link to how you can get this copy. But it's such a stunning book. I love it. I can't wait to ship this. We are already shipping our first batch today, and we will be closing the pre-order very soon. I think it's already closed or something. But yeah. Hi, Roseanne. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, very well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. How are you doing? What time is it for you?
It is about 1:30 in the afternoon.
Oh,
So,
so not that bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's nice. Well,
Perfect.
I was going to say sunny, but no, it's not. But anyway,
Oh.
here we are.
Yes. Okay. Everybody welcomes Roseanne. Roseanne is the studio visit artist, published artist in our third volume of the studio visit book. And I'm very excited to have her. We've already visited her studio in the pages of Studio Visit Book Volume 3. And we are now very excited to actually see her studio beyond the pages via this video. So how about we start with Roseanne, who you are? We have Chilu. Hi. Everybody who's joining us from Studio Visit Book Volume 3, please make sure we know that because it'll be exciting so that we all can cheer for each other. But Roseanne, why don't you introduce yourself first?
Yeah, so I'm an Australian mixed media artist. I'm based in the UK and in a small seaside town, coastal town called St. Leonards-on-Sea.
Okay.
Which isn't too far from London. And
Okay.
I make work about memory, place, and identity. And I use a lot of different materials in my work. So I use found
Okay.
imagery and I
Mm-hmm.
use sort of pre-loved objects or objects that bear the mark of people who once owned them, or objects that sort of, you know, sort of elicit childhood memories or, you know, memories of bygone eras. And I also, you know, use all of these sort of materials to create collages on paper and on fabrics.
Yeah.
And a lot of my sort of recent work incorporates themes or sort of techniques that have traditionally been considered women's work. So sewing, embroidery, bit of crochet I've started. Yeah, so there's a lot.
Amazing. Tell me something, Roseanne. Why did you choose to be an artist? What is your reason? Why did you decide to be an artist in the first place?
Um, I don't know if I decided as such, but um, definitely as a kid, I was always super creative, always making. You know, I sort of, if it wasn't illustration and painting, it was learning how to sew and use a sewing machine and make, you know, costumes or
Yeah.
paper mache, like just everything. And it's sort of no surprise that my artwork kind of incorporates quite a lot of different techniques and art mediums now. And my mum's an artist, so I always remember sort of her always, you know, making or, you know, creating art. And I remember poring over her amazing sort of graphic art books from the 70s. And
Wow.
so, yeah, that's not to say, you know, when I went through university, you know, I didn't actually come out with an arts degree,
Okay.
but I incorporated art in my sort of studies. I studied international relations and diploma of language,
Oh my goodness.
but as soon as yeah, so very different from art, but as soon as I could incorporate, you know, sort of, I guess they call elective subjects where you can choose your own subjects, I started studying photography. And then it kind of, I never left the darkroom really, and was putting on exhibitions. And yeah, so then it's
Wow.
sort of from there.
Okay. I see. Let me flip my screen, um, and I'll open your spread. So I have the book here. It's my sample. I can't wait for you to have yours. And I have your
Yeah.
spread here. And you say creativity feels, I love this page specifically, like, the spread looks fantastic and it really features each artist in a very powerful way. And we asked each one of you, creativity feels like a real superpower. And you said that. I asked this in the previous artists also, and I wanted to ask why did you say that and what that means to you?
Yeah, I think because maybe it came from, as a lot of creative people, I think, tend, well, maybe I'm speaking from a personal point of view more so, you sort of tend to take for granted that you are creative.
Yes,
And, you know,
I
you
can relate
sort
to
of,
that.
yeah, and you sort of think, oh, everyone must be like this. But
Yeah,
actually, I've sort of come to realize over the years that, you know, you shouldn't really take your creativity for granted. And no, not everyone has that sort of ability, and it is something to really sort of cherish and harness and, yeah, treat like a superpower, really.
amazing. Okay, tell me something. What does your creative process in a day-to-day life looks like? Where's your studio? Do you have a specific routine, day, details like that?
Yeah. So my studio is at home,
Okay.
so you have to be I have to be quite disciplined to
Yeah,
go into the studio,
yeah.
and I have set days because I also work part time, um, and yeah, I'm a mum as well, so time is
Happy
pretty.
Mother's Day.
Yeah. Oh, right. Is that Mother's Day where
Yeah, I
you
think
are?
that's what we're celebrating in India. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Oh, thank you. And yeah, but I do feel like anyway, even if I had all the time in the world, it's kind of never enough, really. Anyway, but I would say my studio process can vary. Sometimes it's if I sit in front of a computer and sort of do some digital collage, or if I do some analog collage and just get started, or sometimes it's doing the admin stuff of,
Yeah.
you know, of researching opportunities or making sure my website is all
to
good,
get
or
yeah.
yeah, or lately I'm making a piece that involves pom-poms.
Oh,
So yeah, sort of these kind of psychedelic colored,
oh wow.
might not even be able
This makes me think of Rachel, who was the curator for this book, and I think it now it makes sense because it's called
to.
Rachel's work, and the connection is pretty evident.
I love her
Yeah.
work. She's so vibrant and yeah, engaging and fun. But yeah, so lately I've just been making these pom poms with a view, to sort of making a really large scale work. So there's a lot of pom poms needed. But yeah,
Amazing.
even just chipping away and getting started, or even doodling in my sort of journal and getting some ideas out there. But I think it's just doing something is the best way to get started.
Amazing.
But yeah, but I know in the book, when you asked that question, the first thing that came to mind was collage, because I think anyone could really benefit from the kind of creative flow that collage can
Has.
bring, and so quick as well. So you can produce something, you can take 10 minutes, you can take 2 hours, it's up to you. And yeah, I think that's a really good
Um,
way just to do something, just to get started.
okay. Let me flip again, and I really love this work that we
Uh,
publish in the book. This is
yeah, I've
I'll
got
be
that.
seeing you. Do you have a copy? Do you have an original of this with you right now?
Yeah, do you
Oh
want to
wow!
see it?
Yes.
I brought it out because this was recently in a show, and some of them they come in
Oh, it looks
editions.
beautiful. Oh, it's. Let me capture this moment. Wait. Okay. So we have the original, and we
Yeah,
have both of them. For one second.
yeah.
One
So
minute.
it's a work on paper, but I made some or not, some clay scissors. So they're sort of magenta colored clay stuck on that. So it's sort of a three-dimensional collage.
So is that an original? Is that a toy scissor from your kids?
Well, this is the thing. I use a lot of children's toys, and it's lucky that they're sort of on hand because my
Yeah.
daughter.
Yeah.
But I recreated them. I made sort of a mold of them, and I sort of kept taking her toys, and she
So is
wasn't too
this on
happy about
clay?
it. So, sorry.
This is clay, so.
Yeah. So
That's so
I
nice.
recreated them out of clay. So it's so cute. It's like a 3D collage, really.
So what is your process? Do you make a collage, then go back to to your children and your daughter, and you're like, okay, give me your toy now. Let me see what I like. Things together,
Yeah.
and you're like, this is it, and then you make a clay out of it.
Well, sometimes yes, like because the toys are everywhere really, and so you can't help but stumble upon them, or like step on a piece of Lego and think, I wonder if I could do something with that. But it yeah, I've the recreating them out of clay has been really interesting, because then I've got control over color. Like I'm looking right now of this sort of dinosaur fossil I recreated out of neon clay, pink
Oh
neon
wow.
clay. So I've got a bit more control over how the colors can make it a kind of, they can change it and make the piece sort of different. But yeah, sometimes it's sort of thinking, oh, I'm going to put that aside because I could make something from that, and just seeing what happens. Or yeah, like sometimes if I'm planning it, so I've got quite a big collection of vintage photographs, and I might be scanning the photographs and think, oh, actually, let me sort of mock up what I could do with this digitally. Um, yeah, so it's a lot of playing, and actually, that's where kind of I found motherhood has come in
Oh
handy, because it
yes,
really does reunite.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And
so sure, you get less time, but yeah, the I
your
think it's really
efficiency.
changed the direction of my artwork as well, and really playing and revisiting all those things as a kid I loved doing, which was the making and the sewing, and um, you know, clay. Yeah, use a lot of clay and just everything, just
And
going for it
then
and having fun.
and tell me something. What do you think has been now you're also, like you mentioned, being a mother, being a wife. There's so many roles that we play as artists, as women. As artists, I think, it's a lot about one man show. There's so much that you do yourself. Very few artists are able to, hire help or build a team and things like that. And as um, women, we are already doing a lot on our plate. What do you think has been, and I'm asking this specifically as women artists, because that's, I think, that's always been the major focus. And our book is also focused on women. Um, what has been your biggest, I would say, hurdle and your biggest strength, both as someone who's in the creative field as an artist all through these years?
Yeah. So, biggest hurdle is time. I think I
Okay.
mentioned anyway,
Yeah.
or the lack of time. But I do wonder. Sure, I definitely have less time, but I wonder, like I said, even if I had
You had more
20 more
time.
hours in the week, I somehow wouldn't be enough still. But so I think time is a big hurdle. I guess like it's interesting because I've sort of embraced the techniques that people, especially in the fine art world, would consider craft or women's
Yeah.
work. I've
Yeah.
started to really embrace them. So I've kind of used that hurdle as a bit of a strength in a way. Like they were all things that I remember a lot of women in my family doing, knitting, sewing, embroidering, dressmaking. And I really took to them and loved them. So I just embraced it, and I was just like,
I'm
why?
Is that me or you? Can somebody
I'm
hear me?
okay.
Is that me? Is that Roseanne? I don't know. Please let me know if you
I
can hear me. Please, if I
I can maybe on.
can. Can you hear me? Okay, I
I can
think
hear
we
you.
missed Roseanne, but if you can hear me, please let me know if you can. Um,
I can hear
and if you have any
you.
questions for me or Roseanne, I think we were losing you. I think there was a connection error.
Okay. Is it
Okay.
better now?
Yeah. Yeah. A little better. Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
you were saying something.
Um, yeah, just sort of
Time. You said
embrace that.
time.
Yeah, time, and then the hurdle of sort of those techniques that I mentioned that you could be considered craft or not
Yeah.
necessarily, traditionally seen as women's work. I've
Yeah.
really kind of embraced that and really just gone for it and used them in my work because I think being your authentic sort of self is the most important thing as an artist, really.
I love that. How about you? Will you take us inside your studio now?
Oh, okay. I'll flip
Let's
things
take a
around,
tour.
shall I?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a look. Should I?
You
Can I
can flip
flip?
your screen.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can.
Okay. So can we see? So maybe we'll start with this.
Oh.
Um,
Is that
sort
what
of.
you're
I've been
working
making.
on, or is that an old piece?
That's a piece that I finished last year. I sort of made a series of works that were inspired by suffragette banners,
Okay.
and some of them were exhibited locally. And yeah, they're collages or imagery on fabric, and this one happens to be actually sort of a padded piece. So I
Okay.
kind of almost wanted to feel like you needed to hug it. But they
Oh.
all sort of have these tassel fringing bottoms, and
Yeah.
and then this is something I'm working on at the moment. I've been experimenting with crochet.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I'm wondering how to sort of incorporate that in a particular piece. And then this is sort of the
Oh,
pom
wow. I
pom
love the
chaos.
burst of color.
Yeah, that's I really wanted, a lot of my work has a lot of pastels in it, so I wanted to sort of contradict that with a bit of color.
Oh, wow.
And I sort of tend to use, these are fuse beads. I incorporated in one of my pieces. My daughter helped me as well, actually. So I sort of incorporate everything. There's googly eyes,
Ah.
loads of pom-poms.
Absolutely makes sense why you're in the book.
Well, yeah. And yeah, just sort of books, loads of books. There's ivy there because, you know, you never know when you're going to use ivy. Loads of books that I can use for collage. And if I lead a collage workshop, this is a banner that I made.
And
Was
you
the
crochet
first.
on it.
This one actually is made from doilies this is what inspired me to sort
Oh,
of, yeah, they're vintage doilies. They're sort of incorporated found imagery and found materials. And this was sort of the first piece that I used in my series of sort of suffragette banners. They're from a series called No Wallflower.
oh wow.
So yeah,
Marlo says, love your colors and your imagery, so powerful.
oh,
Please make sure you share your comments and questions for Roseanne. Yes.
thank you. Yeah, and this is sort of, yeah, I'm trying to figure. This is a vintage dress with birds of paradise flowers on it. My grandma really loved that print, and I really love those flowers. And so I found a dress with it on, a vintage dress, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with that. So that's just sort of there. And then yeah, a bit of screen printing that I did, and a bit of
Oh wow.
sort of test prints, or sort of I guess studies for photographs that I've embroidered.
Very
So
nice.
yeah, there's a
What is something that you've been working on recently?
well, it's this thing with the pom poms actually. Um, it's a and it's I'm sort of really interested in using or telling stories or perspectives from my family's migration sort of
Oh,
stories. And so my dad's side of the family is Italian and my mum's Scottish, and they
oh,
yeah, you know, moved to
that's
their
very
families moved
interesting.
to Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and their families moved to Australia, and we've really got this kind of archive of, you know,
Mm.
photographs and materials and things that I really want to use. So I'm, yeah, sort of working on something to do with that. And last year I was lucky enough to get a scholarship to take part in an art course in Venice
Oh wow.
through the ECA, um, and yeah, it sort of came from that, really, that time there that I spent in Venice. So
Um,
it's slow going, but it's, yeah,
I'm
it's
sure.
sort of
How
getting there. The pom pom.
was that experience for you?
It was pretty amazing, actually, just to also not only have that time and space, um, you know, totally dedicated to thinking about your art, but to also meet other artists who were, you know, hugely talented and from all
All over
over
the world.
the world, and all kind of come together. And then, of course,
Yes.
Venice is amazing. You know,
Yeah.
you could not
No,
fall in love with beauty.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so
What do you think? Um, do you have an advice for anybody else, specifically not only women, but also mothers? Because I feel like a lot of artists, mothers in general, in a lot of sense, feel, you know, they cannot have all those dreams fulfilled or cannot take those leaps, like leaving your children and going for a course or doing things like that. What is your advice for people who feel they are at that tangent, and how can they, whatever you feel are good, wise words?
Well, I think, yeah, that was tricky, and I had to coordinate it, you know. So you can't just like pick up and go sort of thing. You have to
Yeah.
plan it. But I think if there's something that, you know, if you sit and give yourself even 10 minutes a day or something, just to think about what it is you really want to do with your art, it you can make it happen in small steps. It doesn't have to, you know, it's probably not going to happen overnight, especially when you've got, you know, not much time, you know, but you can do little bits here and there and keep chipping away. Because if you're creative or you're an artist, it's just in you, full stop. So you
Yeah.
know, you're going to, it's going to come out in some way, or, you know, you've got to keep being creative. And so it's just going to take longer, or the steps are going to be smaller, or but just keep at it. I
I love that.
guess advice.
Amazing. Okay, thank you so much. One last question. How was your and you can be as honest as you like. How was your experience in being published in a book? Is that your first book? Also, how was your experience with working with Arts Towards Project? Any new projects that you have up?
Yeah, it was great, and I can't wait to see what it's going to look the book is going to look like in the flesh. It just
It
looks
looks
so
fabulous.
beautiful, even from, you know, seeing it here and seeing the digital sort of mock-ups we have.
Yeah.
But yeah, the experience was great, and I really can't wait to also see the other artists' work
Yeah.
in, you know, in the book as well. And was it? I've sort of had a few things published before, but this I don't feel like, you know, this one is actually really more directed at, you know, well, it was about my studio and about, you
Yeah.
know, my practice or my process.
Yeah.
So that was, yeah, first to sort of have that kind of focus in that area.
Yeah.
It's really exciting. And thank you for having
Oh,
me part of it, you know, having me be part of it.
no, it was so nice to have you. I am truly honest. I feel like um, we've had such, I always keep saying this, we said this a lot of times, even before. Making these books, it's a long, long process for us from starting an call for art to act, the jury process. Then there's a whole editorial process that you all are a part of it. Then there's a production process. We sample so many times to finally, print, making sure your artwork colors are correct. There's such a long process, and it's really intense, and we truly enjoy it. But I think what makes it worth it is to be able to, you know when we see what it looks like, when we see how it helps you, the joy it brings on other people's faces, and when other people look at it, I think then at that point it's truly worth it. But also, I don't think it would be possible without each one of you, having your support, your contribution, your collaboration, each artist that has worked with us. So thank you so much. And I really, everybody um, who's who's with us or who'll watch this later, I truly say, if you want to support us, and please make sure you support our artists like you and many others. If the first thing is, yes, buy the book, buy the art, support by whatever we're doing to us or to the artist. But if you cannot, make sure you like this, share with a friend, leave a nice comment. Just I think as long as we're supporting each other, it really makes it all worth it. So yeah, thank you so much for all the support that you've given us.
Thank you very much.
Okay, everybody, I also want to show you, we already have a few copies here. Let me see if I can flip this. You can see a few copies already being dispatched today, and I have my sample here. Please make sure you grab a copy of the book, Studio Visit book. You can find Roseanne published in the volume 3. It's a stunning, stunning work. Please support her work, and we would love to keep continuing doing the work we do. Thank you, Roseanne. Thank you so much for your time, and we wish to see you in person soon as well.
I hope so. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.